No. Hello. The Daily Telegraph, or the Sunday Telegraph, has put out a very interesting article listing the 7 occasions when Nadim Zahawi has transgressed the ministerial code. Not once, but 7 times. I think probably it could go beyond that, but there are 7 particular instances. In June 2021, when he was vaccines minister, and HMRC started to look into his affairs, and he didn't tell anybody. He was under investigation. In October, when he was appointed Education Secretary, on the 15th of September, while investigations were ongoing, and he didn't declare these issues. On July the 5th, after Chris Pincher, when he stepped in as Chancellor, he became Chancellor by accident on the 5th of July. And it was only on the 15th of July that he raised the issue about his tax affairs, while also complaining to Boris about people, about journalists invading his privacy, I understand. That's something that he does again in his resignation letter, or in the letter responding to Rishi Sunak's sacking. He complains about the Fourth Estate. There's not much one can say about this, except that he draws attention to the fact that whistleblowers in this country are pursued by lawyers who send threatening letters, threatening emails, which are not supposed to be disclosed to the public, which are supposed to be completely private, and which are terrifying to receive. And this is one way that the cadre, that this extraordinary cesspit of elitist favour manages to retain credibility when quite clearly they're doing dodgy things. So the press has one job, and that is to expose this dodginess. And it should not be frightened by letters from ridiculous lawyers who tell you to desist. And nor should such letters ever be treated in future as secret. They should all be revealed. And I've spoken about stuff going on with whistleblowing in the NHS. I will speak more about that in the coming weeks. On July the 10th, Nadim Zahawi, knowing that there was an investigation into his affairs by HMRC, knowing that this was serious, proposed himself to be Prime Minister. He makes a mockery of our democracy and our country. At the same time, he called the HMRC stories, which were already by then circulating, inaccurate, unfair, and clearly smears. The sort of smears, Mr. Zahawi, that undoubtedly you find on the Loo paper. September in last year, he reached an agreement to pay a penalty to HMRC, a penalty for carelessness, a technical term for dodgy dealings. And yet, even after that, he was appointed to posts by Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak and didn't declare the issues that were ongoing. There is only one word to describe this man and his behaviour, and it's the stuff which is smeared all over the Loo paper that he seems to have left behind as a trail down Whitehall. It is shocking, shocking, shocking that this man has such scant regard for the integrity of parliamentary office, for the integrity of his position as an MP. Mr. Gove said he certainly shouldn't resign as an MP. Mr. Gove is a twit if he thinks that. The climate has changed. And if Mr. Gove thinks that there is any purpose in maintaining a Conservative government for the next year or so, then he is living in cloud cuckoo land if he thinks that that can continue while Nadim Zahawi holds any form of parliamentary office right down to the fact of being an MP. That needs to go. Nobody who has been exposed as such a walking testimony to ordure can possibly retain the support and trust of their constituents. I'm sure his mailbag is being inundated with letters at the moment telling him to leave. If he runs out of blue paper, I'm sure there's plenty of those that he can wipe away all stain of self-respect. Michael Portillo says that this whole affair makes Rishi Sunak look weak. Of course it does. Rishi Sunak should have acted at the first moment when when this matter became clear last weekend. Last weekend. It didn't take Laurie Magnus long to discover that Nadim Zahawi was a thug and an oaf and completely unfit to public office. ReesMogg, meanwhile, shows exactly where his loyalty lies. He's already jumped ship. He's already on the media bandwagon with Nadine Dorries. He says, I feel sorry for Nadim. He's been a successful businessman and an effective politician. Well, if by success you mean somebody who tried to cheat the taxman, and if by effective you mean somebody who failed in convincing the Prime Minister that he was sound of character, yeah, great. It shows you once more that the judgment of ReesMogg is extraordinarily queered. But I think the Nadine Zahawi scandal, rather than being a footnote on the page of the last 12 years, is going to define the current government, sadly.